Welcome to Deep Thought, Human Potential. And you know what? And I just talked about Prodigy yesterday, why I liked it, right? Because what you had was a character who really just developed his own potential. Now, he wasn't a mutant or anything or had some superpower, but it's within you. Because if you look at a lot of stuff out here, what humanity can ultimately accomplish is out of this world. If you just look at little things, if you look at pro athletes, right? If you look how fast, like, someone can run, like they could train themselves to run. Or sometimes if you see like a natural athlete, like I remember one of my favorites with a natural athlete, I remember this little 7-year-old kid, right? This little 7-year-old kid, this dude hopped a 6-foot fence. I mean, this little kid just ran, he hopped the 6. Now, he ain't do like over a single bound. He basically got up, got his arms on it, then hopped it, landed without it was nothing. We was like, it was a couple of us that saw. It's like, man, that kid gonna be some athlete. I wonder what happened to that kid. Because he was a little thing. And if y'all remember Allen Iverson, who used to play basketball at Georgetown, that dude was, people, regardless of what he was, that dude was like a super athlete, right? He was a slight little thing, but people don't realize, as great as he was in basketball, as great as he was in college and pros, that was football. I mean, basketball was his second sport. He actually has gone on record saying he actually liked football more. And that dude could have easily like played pro ball, easily, pro football, right? So you got the athletes, that's the obvious thing, right? But then you got some human beings that can do some stuff. If you think about like marksmen in the military service, especially special forces and stuff, these guys don't miss. If they aim their gun at you, that's pretty much your ass, right? But that's the thing, just to coordinate like that. Right? Like you see the coordination in sports, but to coordinate, take a weapon, especially like if you got a sniper or something and kill from a distance, that's a lot of stuff. Or then you see, like I remember this autistic young man who, I believe they flew him over the city of London. I think it was London. It was some city in a helicopter one time. And then from memory, he recreated it on a picture. And speaking of which, there was another kid who was blind, but he was able to use something called elocution, I believe, just making clicks and stuff, and he could navigate. He could ride a skateboard blind, right? And I'm just like, wow. It's like, we read the stuff in the comic books where, they swimming underwater, they flying and everything. But you have that. I mean, you have stronger than average people. You got some people, they just naturally strong, right? They could throw up several pounds of weight, 300 or 400 pounds without steroids. In fact, I worked at this gym. Like, to lift 225 is considered something. Anybody who stays in the gym, that's considered something, right? But then you got some guys, they just have a natural strength. They doing like 400. We had several guys at this one gym could do 400 pounds. And, so far I'm just talking about physical stuff, but if you think about something like a photographic memory, how powerful that is. Or you get some kids, and I forgot the term, but my son had it, where he basically taught himself how to read, right? He actually taught himself how to read. It was just like, wow. That dude was telling us his ABCs. I was like, I was looking at his mother and stuff. I was like, you teach him that? She was like, no. You teach him? I was like, no, I thought you had been working with him. Right. And I mean, you get some kids like that, being able to play music, prodigies, even social intelligence and stuff. Like, ultimately, like when you look at IQ and stuff, that's just pattern recognition. And some people just got it naturally. You can recognize certain patterns and stuff. But that's incredible. That's incredible. And that's, that's always been my thing, is human potential, like extraordinary individuals. Because what it ultimately is, if you have one who has it, ultimately, we all have that potential. In fact, no telling what human beings could really be. I mean, you look at something like the X-Men, and you're like, oh, that's crazy, but it could be. And in fact, speaking of X-Men, there's a book series out. It's called the Brilliance Trilogy, right? By author Marcus Sakay, right? It's one of my favorites because he actually kind of looked at it from that angle. Like in the story, in this particular universe, you had a bunch of people that they called abnorms or brilliants, right? Or, as a slurred twist. And basically all it was they just had stuff that's like very plausible, but it just made them extraordinary. Like you had the main character, he could just read body types and he could just read like body language real well and know what your intention is. Like if he got in a fight, he already knew you were going to throw a punch at him or what you were going to do, right? You had another character in it who she knew how to play vector. She knew how to disappear. It's like, how everybody has a blind spot, right? She knew how to move in such a way that she could always be in your blind spot. So in a way, she just disappeared to you, right? You had another character. He was like a brilliant strategist, and he was like the main villain. It was like he was like the Einstein of strategy, right? Like, able to beat chess champions, able to make plans, counter plans, and everything, right? And yeah, another character was a woman, and she had been used a bit, but she knew how to like read anybody to basically become the perfect woman for them, right? Like she could seduce because she knew she could read somebody and know what they would like respond to, right? And then one character, his whole perception of time was different, right? His whole perception of time was different. 1 second for a normal person was like 11 seconds for him. So, and he was hard to, he could like kill several people because he was just, they were moving very slow. So it was incredible. It was incredible. In fact, a recent movie, Glass, it really explored it, because if you look at what they all did, if you look at Bruce Willis's character, David Dunn, you look at the James McAvoy's character, the Horde, Kevin, his real name was Kevin. His movie name was Kevin. And then Samuel L. Jackson's character, Mr. Glass, Elijah. All of them were plausible. I mean, you have people who are just stronger than average, or, you have somebody like when people have dissociative identity disorder, or what they call split personality, the personalities will actually have different physical abilities. And it was nothing impossible. It was not, everything was plausible. And that's one thing they went into the movie was you can get some guys who are just stronger, more resilient than average or something, right? But it's an incredible thing. And that's something I really like. And I like seeing that, And like I said, the intelligence thing, or, the photographic memory, or, somebody being able to recall everything, or being able to really, one interesting thing, and I read about this, where somebody can go into an environment and basically see everything. Like their senses are heightened. Like they can pick up everything, consciously pick it up. And it's incredible. And it's incredible where we could be going, right? And a lot of people have it. A lot of people have stuff and just live ordinary lives because they don't think anything about it. Nobody makes a big deal out of it, right? But, it's still there. It's still there. So, anyway, and that's part of the reason why I do this. And it's and ironically, people don't realize it can still get to another level, because I know people at a whole other X-Men type of level, but that's another show. So anyway, right, that's all I got for today. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace and blessings.